Fear of discomfort in older adults. Fear of discomfort in older adults can manifest itself in many forms, from a reluctance to ask for help to avoiding participation in social and family activities. The feeling of being a burden to others can lead to feelings of anxiety, sadness, and even depression in many older adults. This fear may be related to a decline in physical capacity, a need for special care, or simply a change in the social role that the older adult has played throughout his or her life.
From a practical point of view, we have 3 important points to take into account.
1. Feelings of invalidity. Many older adults begin to feel that they are a burden to their loved ones, which can lead to feelings of shame or fear of asking for help. 2. Changes in social role. The transition to retirement and possible loss of physical abilities can affect self-image, which can lead to a fear of making others uncomfortable. 3. Social isolation. This fear can lead to voluntary isolation, where the older person may avoid social situations so as not to feel that he/she is making others uncomfortable.
In the final part, we will give alternative solutions to these 3 points.
On the other hand, in the older adult, the idea of time is disturbing because it tells us that we are mortal, and then the questions appear. How did I live? What did I do? What did I stop doing? There is no longer someday. As when we were young, we feel that time has no compassion. We see it marking traces in our body. There is a certain resistance to aging. The idea of old age produces bewilderment, a feeling of helplessness, loneliness, psychic suffering. When we speak of education for successful aging, which is health promotion, we believe that many of the disabling causes of old age can be avoided, or at least diminished, by learning new resources to compensate for limitations. All the latest studies show that the time spent idle acts as the main pathogenic agent. And what about the fear of death? The idea of death raises fears from 2 perspectives: in relation to the act of dying and in after death. Whether death is considered as the end or as the transition to something else, it arouses fear. The fear of dying alone or of becoming ill without assistance is very common. Fortunately, today, we have at our disposal technological advances such as programmed telephones at our fingertips that allow us to call an emergency, a neighbor or a relative. As for the after, there is the added fear of the unknown. Some feel relief if their belief leads them to think of new lives or reincarnations, like the Orientals, or to an encounter with God or loved ones. Being able to talk about these fears, write them down, dramatize them as many times as necessary, makes them no longer taboo, forbidden, dangerous subjects, and they cease to be ghosts.
General solutions.
1. Encourage open communication. Talking openly and honestly with friends and family can help allay fears. It is important that loved ones express their support and that the older adult can express his or her feelings without fear of being judged. 2. Promote autonomy. Encouraging independence in daily activities can improve self-esteem. This may include access to assistive devices, use of senior-friendly public transportation, or even participation in groups or activities that encourage independence. 3. Professional intervention if necessary. If the fear of discomfort becomes a serious problem that affects quality of life, it may be helpful to seek the help of a mental health professional specializing in geriatrics. 4. Involve them in community activities. Participating in group or community activities can strengthen social relationships and help older adults feel valued and useful. 5. Family education and awareness. Often, stigmas and misunderstandings about aging can contribute to these feelings. Family members are unaware of how their behavior can contribute to these feelings. Offering guidance on how to be supportive without infantilizing can be beneficial. In summary, fear of discomfort in the older adult is a legitimate concern that requires empathetic understanding and a multifaceted approach. It is healthy to go out motivated by an activity to do: walking, going on a course, meeting friends, going to the movies, a scheduled activity, an outing with grandchildren, etc. In general, scheduling the day, the week, etc. helps to combat that terrible thing that appears when you wake up in the morning, you feel an emptiness. Now what? Also, for that reason, we remember that when we talk about activity, we are not referring to just any activity, but to that which generates pleasure. Because of its content and the social contact it entails, the combination of emotional support, promotion of independence, professional intervention if necessary, and social and environmental changes can do much to mitigate this fear and allow a fuller and more satisfying old age. In this new home, the older adult listens and is listened to, greets and is greeted, is called by name, nicknames are usually preferred, is expected, is missed if he or he does not come, has new companions, and forms new bonds. A good residence for the elderly reinforces the reassuring effect, since the group, as an emotional support, generally makes possible a greater relief through exchange, thus reducing the psychic suffering that fears generate. Do not forget that the residence for older adults requires several months of preparation for the transition to be natural.
In the description of this video, you will find the links to the 12 complete tracks.